Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting and riveting and amazing Propagandacast with me, your host, Imperial Dane. The one, the only, Master Propaganda Hero, Psych Defender of the Fatherland, off here to 2v2 on Elst Outskirts. In the north it is Spade and Peashooter, fighting for the German army, Deutschland. Here with the 7th Panzerdivision, the Ghost Division, with German Mechanized, Spearhead, Assault Support, Elite Armour, well, straight to Elite Armour with 2-1, Emergency Repairs, Panzer Commander, Heat Shells and Storm Tigers. We got Crank here with Mechanized Support, Guard Motor, Defensive Tactics, Crossfire, so Combined Arms Army, Guard Motor as well, unsurprisingly, and also Mechanized Support there. Forming up here with the 3rd Guards Mechanized Corps. Both Guard Motor is like just the commander that is just the most popular thing across any format, and like just across the servers there. Mechanized Support is fairly popular in 2v2s as well, though. Anyways, off to the races here in the Germans in the northwest, so it's in southeast. And as always, a big hearty thanks to my patrons, supporters, champion and heroes, one and all. Without them and their support, the Propagandacast would not be possible. So big thanks to those. Other people can join the ranks, support the Propagandacast and the war effort by Patreon themselves, or they can donate via PayPal. Links in the description. And finally, commenting, liking, sharing, subscribing would also have a bit there, just spread the word a bit via the algorithm. So, first shots fired here. Kuban rushing into Indonesia. Wide off, bring the entrance off here to make it hard into this building. Up northeast, Spade moving forward, says steadily for the German army. We got Crossfire looking block here. Worth noting, above so players are coming in here to conscript heavy builds. No penal troopers here. In the south, they're fuel ping seas with the conscript squad there. Engineers are basically buying time here against Peashooter, but I'd say there's only limit to how much longer they can hold out against that advance there, with the Sturmpion attacking from one side, the Kuhwagen and the Volksgrenadiers from another side. So you need to very quickly evacuate the premises up north here. Crossfire consider pushing through the fuel pond there, but perhaps senses there might be something nasty there, and so backs off. Tactics, I would say that's very sensible. So far, 3 country squads there, with the 4th one over there for Crank. As for Spade and Peashooter, we got the trot on the way there for Peashooter. Spade there with 2 Grenadiers MD32. Nothing further happening as yet. No 3rd Grenadier squad, which you typically see. Perhaps he's planning on the machine gun, a sniper, or a mortar. There's certainly a few possibilities here that Spade could be sort of going for. South here, Sturmpion forcing against the engineers there. South here, we've got the Kuhwagen and the conscripts there. Crossfire there with a 4th conscript as well. There's above so players going for 4 conscripts. Bit rare, honestly. 2-1 there for Peashooter. And Spade is taking straight ahead. He just 2 Grenadiers, 1 for 2, then moving straight ahead for tier 2. That's a bit of a bold strand. They definitely think you're relying a bit here. That Crossfire is actually not pressuring him a lot there. I think that is making it easier for Spade to basically just rush for tier 2 very easily and satisfactorily in that way. Let's simply put Crossfire in this by having a lot of infantry just not attacking him, forcing him to like commit more troops to the fight here. In the southwest here, Peashooter and Crank continue to slap away each other, but again, neither side's making much progress. Looks like that we might see a change here in Crossfire's posture, moving up towards us against the Grenadiers here. Could see a swing towards the car pond, which is definitely undefended. The machine Grenadiers here, I think, perhaps realizing they might in fact be about to be victims to a carve push. And there you go, the Grenadiers called round the conscript shooting straight ahead for the car pond here. The engineers could then use the victory pond there. Other troops, it's still like 2 squads doing nothing, and we got Panzer Grenadiers here for Spade. Actually, in a 2v2 rushing up. Panzer a bit rare there. Conscripts just defending. Again, I would have figured to push for the car pond there. Fortunately, they got the point here, threatening here now the 3rd carve point instead. Meanwhile, Crank falling a bit back in the west here, perhaps feeling overextended. And there you go, armoured cart here for Peashooter there, the 2-1, like the Punchy Speedwagen. Fortunately, being caught with the conscripts here, Sen being held up here. Knees pushing for the carve point. Surprised we're not seeing the conscript, this larger squad. The MD42 now ready, by the way. We can see Crossfire slightly slow, but is able to push the carve point up there. Perhaps that was his intent. Use the push on the carve point as a bait to draw away the force around the fuel point there, out of the way. Holding off at the car on the south, we got the 2-1 machine against Crank here, charging at them. No anti-tank grenades or anti-tank routes, means the conscripts will have to retreat here before they get wiped by Peashooter's armoured car. Dashing push there by the German army. Defend the car point successfully again at the core solution, the fuel point here to the Red Army. And there you go, conscript caught here with the armoured car there, heading from an angle where they're not particularly count. In fact, they're negative cows. This is great here for Peashooter's 2-1, which already got secured 4 kills. Back at the bases, no tech here. We do get grenade upgrades for both players. Crank slightly hit on the timings there. Panther squad there for Spade, right into the fuel point. He needs to back up, so we're going to focus on the Panther Grenadiers, by the way. 2-2 following up here for Spade. Worth noting, Yon Peashooter so far, no other commander has been picked here. Mine's disrupted. As Peashooter and the German army once more tries to press onwards toward the car point for Deutschland. Engineers continuing to block the building there before the Germans get into it, but they're already in such a poor state of affairs they need to get out of there before the Germans just wipe them out. In fact, engineers are at a high risk of getting turned into compost there. And the Senate is holding up against a conscript there. Right ahead. They know the MG42 take a bit too long, but no, stops them anyways. Up north here, the Panzergrenadiers now being supported by the Grenadiers, but again, long range, the Panzergrenadiers like that are not in a great spot here. And he probably should have treated them sooner. He's probably just looking to like tie up Crossfire's forces, which I guess is one option here. Got the armored car running, which is dead force not, but they got the Panzer there falling back, but not quite retreating as of yet. Perhaps a misclick. Hard to say. And there you go. Armored car charges in. There's subs and damage in. He's saying the Panzer is on the flank. I'm guessing some name because he just wants the anti-tank of bomb grenade. There you go. Yup. And he goes for a wipe and almost got it with just a single Panzer Grenadier. Thanks to the bomb grenade. He almost might get the wipe. There you go. And the lone Panzer Grenadier wipes the survivors. That was very bold there, the Spade, and lost the Panzer Grenadier though. That definitely means it wasn't quite worth it because the Panzer Grenadiers are significantly more expensive than the conscripts. So that kind of, put a bit of the halt there to how otherwise impressive it looked there for them. In the south, Coh2 hit their crank once, but a bit of tight spot. As Peashooter there charges out for the German army, Sturmpioneer and 2-3 there assailing Crank's positions, and they are basically pushed right back towards the general direction of Moscow. He's been caught with the concept trying to move in too far aggressively. I don't think Spade is paying attention. There you go, that's full retreat here. And the up north, the armored car's down. Another loss here to Spade. Another slap across the face here for the German army. Die Deutsche Wehrmacht. Continuing up, they also got worth noting. We got a lot of mines here from Crossfire, actually. That's not shabby. Continuing towards the center here. A fresh Panzer going to score there for Spade. Getting more, I think, wouldn't be a half bad idea, though. At this rate, he may also want to have to go for some Panzer strikes because he's got no anti-tank guns whatsoever. And there's a good chance the Surge's going to hit him with the T-70 because Crossfire's already got his tech up, and he's clearly not going for the anti-aircraft tech. Crank's got his own tech on the way there. So, likelihood of T-70 hitting the German army here soon, I think, is very high here. Meanwhile, Crossfire up north is launching an assault there. Might want to replace some of his losses. I would not be surprised if he's planning like something like Mechanized support or gut motor here. Or combined arms army. Basically, he's just planning guardsmen. Classic of any Soviet, force there. Armored coming in there, close to 82. It's already got 13 kills. I mean, this armored car's been great. And there you go. At more or less the exact same time, Spade and Crossfire go for a commander. Crossfire goes for mechanized support there with ambush, anti-tank and ambush tactics, guards rifle infantry, in which he's already called in one squad, marked vehicle, Sturmix strafing run, and the IC-152, and Spade here with assault support featuring the officer, the Opel Blitz cargo truck, strafing runs, fragmentation bombing runs, and the Tiger tank. North here, Crossfire trying to make progress there, but we got Panzers backed up. Grenadiers here ready to lay down some heavy fire. But at the same time, Coh2 hit here by Crank's forces back. Spade is able to put up with rather effective defense up north. Orbit Blitz securing the northern point here, right next to the base with a bit extra fuel and munitions. Pretty good spots up the Orbit Blitz there, to be honest. It's going to be a fairly far off path the enemy has to take to destroy that Orbit Blitz there. Rifle grenade off here, a bun grenade too. Heavy losses and damage here to Crossfire's men up in south. Here, Crossfire is pushing back Peashooter and the German army. 5th Panzer Grenadier Company needs to reorganize and launch a counterattack to push back the Surge here. Truck on the way there for Peashooter and Spade here. Well, not much else though. Is he just planning to rush for tier 3 now, or is there some other scheme here from Spade? Meanwhile, Crossfire here can go for the T-70, but hasn't gone for the T-70. Crank, meanwhile, is going for the T-70. Perhaps Crossfire is in fact planning to go straight for the Mechanized Armour Company and rush out T-34 some 6s instead here versus the Germans. There's certainly some possible strategic layers here. Spade is coming to 2nd Orbit Blitz. I mean, he's clearly wanting a lot of resources, and we also got the tier 3 rush, so he's definitely looking to push out something here fast. The question is it going to be like something from the Suprema Corps, or is he like planning to go straight for tier 4 with this kind of build? That is definitely highly risky here. The South Mechanized Armour company being built up with the Crossfire, so yeah, he's planning to rush out T-34s. Up north here, machine gun crew wiped out here by Crossfire. He slapped across the face of a Spade, and the 7th Panzer Grenadier Company here, which he's commanding. Grenade off on the Grenadiers there, and almost wipes out the unit. Machine gun being set up here with the Gaspin. With the DP light machine guns could get a wipe here. Also worth noting they're chucking the RDD-33 fragmentation grenade, which would be later replaced by the RD-42, which was overall easier to make, cheaper to make, and also more explosive. So fun fact there. Mechanized Armour company at the Crossfire though. T-Sum rushing at the centre. Both fuel pumps back in control of the surge. This could definitely mean they're going to hit far here. Though of course, Spade does have double over blitzers, so at least he won't be too affected by this comparatively. At least he shouldn't be.
The enemy is taking our territory.
So that's good for him. We got the T-Sum being panther fast into the Kettenhaft. Also looks like we got here Peashooter with the 2 sitting up there. Yeah, he's going to have to set the other blitz up somewhere else because I don't think he's going to be able to gain resource from the same territory there. So both players are basically offsetting otherwise the surge fuel control there with their own logistical vehicles there. Bit rare to see that many going off here. Bit rare. So that's kind of interesting. Full to the consequence here. Crank moving in to defend the southern fuel pond there from the advance of the 5th Panzer Grenadier Company here of the 7th Panzer Division. Field gun there for Crank. Still no command for him, Bow. He's like the only player without them. He got by Peashooter with tech and double orbital dart in here. Spade, meanwhile, got the support cup there, so clearly not starting for the big stuff. Thumbs up to that, though. He could still do more troops up north here. Grenadiers, Panzer goes MD4 trooping there to regain the southern fuel or northern fuel pond there from the Red Army. Definitely necessary here. Absolutely necessary. In fact, I'm surprised it took this long to get in forces in position. There you go. Note he's taking the Panzer on this path here to threaten, watching them shooting units. And there we go. This time gets a wipe without losing the Panzer squad. Quite the loss there for Crossfire and the Red Army. In the center here, though, Pioneers with the country in the T-70 here. Back here for Crank, troop reinforcing healing. T-34 from 6 got a bit more to go, but Crossfire's brought in a mortar. And the Pioneers here, under Spade's command, got utterly obliterated. A devastating blow here inflicted by a Crossfire. Grenadiers MD4 against the Engineers here. T-Sum northwards. Grenadiers being hammered. Up north, their points being seized. Grenadiers some victory point here. Northeastern one. Panthers and T-Sum hitting through the rear here. In the south here, we got the counters. They're advancing. Orbital dart. Kublai fixed up. More Pioneers here for Spade to make up for the losses. Country charging the Grenadiers here. Light machine gun fire rattling off. T-Sum being fixed up. Orbs on there, flanking against the counters there. Very nice move there. You can see that Crank is quick to pull back his Frontovix. Kenref in the center. Up north here, points being claimed there by Spade and Deutschland. T-34 from 6 there for Crossfire at the 12-minute mark. And again, worth noting, Spade currently possesses no anti-tank weapons. In fact, he's going for a mortar, which is notably helpful as infantry support weapons, but less so against tanks. At least in-game. Machine them about it. MD-34 there will have to vacate the premises before they get turned into a tomb. And the south here, we can see that Peashooters finally make some progress towards the fuel pump, only be thrown back here by Crank and the Red Army. Building collapsed. T-34 from 6 almost done. Spade can soon go for a Panther 4, but there's a bit more to go here, and again he may have to go for Panther Shreks here. Obviously sucks having to use some already veteran one, is you kind of want those like murder infantry still, but at the same time if he doesn't do that, he's definitely going to be in some significant trouble from that T-34 from 6 or like any other army. In fact, I'm surprised here that Spade still took so long to get Panther Shreks. Probably because Crank didn't really hit him hard with the T-Sim like to force that response. There you go, Panther 1 over Spade. Panzerkampfwagen 4. T-34 rolling forward, still on falling a bit back here. T-34 firing away there with his main gun, its whole machine gun. Crank still without a commander. T-Sim engaging the full screen about the north or western victory point here. In the centre, another push forward here by Crank as well. Up north, Crossfire there. Hovering close to the fuel pump, but isn't quite willing to commit to it either. And there you go, following about here with the T-34 from 6, allowing here for Crank and Crossfire's infantry to make the advance on the centre victory point. Also partly towards the cut-off point. We got Panzerzerstörer here nearby with their Panzerschrecks. And there goes Spade with his Panzerkampfwagen 4. He still hasn't done anything that will blitz. I don't think he's realised he can't set it up here. I mean, he's just, you know, a waste of manpower there for Spade, honestly, which is a bit awkward. Great for the Soviets, though. Ensures he doesn't like get too much more fuel here than them. Panther 4 rushing forward here. Constantly something hammered here by Spade's mortar. Crack's still without a command. I'm still surprised that, honestly. As for Crossfire, he's flooding a lot of manpower when he really, I think, needs to spend it. Like, fuel caches could be an idea, but I was like, get out some guardsmen, some more support weapons, field guns, maxims. He definitely should not be flooding that much manpower right there. There you go. Field gun there for Crossfire. I still think another guard squad would be an excellent choice. I mean, the guardsmen are quite potent elite infantry here, so I'm a bit surprised at the utter lack of them here. And we got here some wire cutting going on there by Spade. Lots of it. My God, these Russians, they really keep buying off everything, don't they? Yeah, to think we can't cut it. That's really silly, isn't it? Yeah. Ludwig there hit by a mortar round. Expires. In the south here, Peashooter and Crank continue to sort of clash, but there's neither sort of really like any decisive engagement from either side, like any major pushes. Up north here, though, Spade is on the move here for Deutschland. There we go, hit on the T-Fit full 6 by the Panther 4. Panzerjägers nearby there with their Panzerschrecks, the Raketen Panzerbüchse. And there we go. We got Peashooter with his own Panther 4. Crank here with a Katyusha on the way. No armor for him yet. Obviously wanting to break the stalemate here, as Peashooter is fairly entrenched here alongside the southern part of the road here. You could also just go for a mortar like a tank, and he still hasn't gone for a commander either. I mean, I'm guessing he's not going for mechanized supports, so like either Guard Motor Defensive could allow him a heavy mortar, which would be, I think, quite helpful here versus Peashooter, so I'm a bit surprised we haven't seen that already. Panther over here for him, and there you go, counter squat in the open, but they managed to miraculously dodge the center and high close shell, at least for now. Second shot also whips. Hand the gun has had a bit too much snaps. In the south, the push forward, Sierra kept up in the T-70, shoots but misses. Bit of a whiff there by Peashooter's Raketen F, and there you go, Sturmpionier with Panzer driving rocket fire here. Forcing away the Raketen F for that constant push back up north here. Crossfire slowly on the move here against Spade, who is responding with his Panther 4 and some light infantry, but some anti-tank teams. South here pushing back the Sods, filling up on the Panther 4, punching straight through the frontal armor here. Katyusha needs to get our way there. Clearly did not expect here for Peashooter to get very aggressive and knock it out like that. Highlights a bit the issue of not going for attack first, and also not mining along here. Still no commander for Crank either. Another push from the northern fuel here. T-Fed for field gun very slowly into support here. And Cross is still like flooding a fair amount of manpower. Like still no fuel caches, no additional infantry, though at least he's gone for 2 field guns to help deal with enemy armor. We got another Panzer squad down there for Spade, and he's going for more Panzerschrecks. I feel like at this point going for more Panzerschrecks seems a bit extreme here by Spade, but that might just be me. I don't think he needs 4 Panzerschrecks to just coin more armor, or is he like... Is this like some new version of the 2-4 stall Tiger maybe? That's definitely something else. We're going for the T-7 there, go and knocks it out. And the Panther 4 there dives away to safety, firing heat shells there at the Soviets. Up north here, Spade holds the line here. Crosswise unable to breach here. Spade's front line from the northern point. There you go, the Friedrich though. Shot to bits there, and we got Crank here finally. Almost 20 minutes again. Goes for Guard Motor. Does go for the mortar. Just could have gone for that a lot sooner. Had some guardsmen out. So I definitely feel like, Crank has missed out on some opportunities by going for Guard Motor so late. At least that's my perspective. Field instead taking a fairly scenic route here that's crucially also a bit further away from the Germans to get out there. This entire northern side is now collapsing under Spade's assault. We even got air support called in here at the strafing run. Still hasn't done anything with that over blitz, by the way. Truck out there for Peashooter. That's a Mechanized regiment. Also, it's got a fairly full retreat point here, but at the same time, not so full. It feels like it really matters. That's a bit of a curse one there by Peashooter. Crossfire continues to float resources, though.
Our points have fallen to 300.
Still has to move the open blitz. I mean, at this point, I think we'd try and get away with setting up the fuel point. I think that'd help Spade a lot towards his goal of a Tiger tank. Obviously, then pushing back the engineers there with some well-laid firepower backed up by the mighty Coh2, which is half age veteran 4. It's Crossfire stalling for the ISU, and now, I mean, that could explain why it's putting so much manpower, but even then, like, it's going to take him forever to get there because still needs to, like, do a lot of damage and gain some experience for that. So similar to like Spade, I think is planning to go for the Tiger tank. I feel like Crossfire is making a slight strategic mistake here by going straight for the big tank here. In this case, the big heavy assault gun for it. We've got folks to the contracts here, close to the car point there of Crank once more. Crank still has some gaps because does of course have the double field guns to deal with the armor, but won't quite nearly halt the Oversoldaten. Like he needs maximum some armor of his own. He's closing in on the T-35. I imagine that is Crank's plan here now versus Peashooter and his German Panzerwaffe. Almost got the film crew here. But looks like they do manage to get in there. We got field gun ready for Barty to cut up the retreating field gun. There we go. Juggernaut completely obliterated. Got the counter-attacking against the Upside, forcing both squads to retreat here. Close call there, a bit for Crank though. Up north, Crossfire once more finds himself in a bit of a state of indecision here. There's the German army in the 7th Panzer Division. Trying to figure out, I think, the best approach here to punch through the German lines with. And Spade always all starting to really flood of resources again. Both Crossfire and Spade are basically stalling for like the big call-in, it seems. As always, I would generally recommend being a bit cautious about that. Unless, of course, you know your opponent's going for it. I don't think they do, but they're clearly sort of, you know, assisting each other and going for their separate, really big piece of armor. Pantherful flying away. They got 10 kills on it, which is within. He's been caught by the Pantherful. We got straight around here by Crossfire unleashing the might of Red Army aviation here against the Germans. And there you go, machine crew there being caught and routed. You still have the 2 Panzerjäger teams with a total of 4 Panzerjägers moving about here against the Soviets. Spade at this point has the resources for the Tiger tank. The issue is just doesn't have the command points. Like he's still roughly about 2 command points. When the South here, Crank moving forwards once more. He's also got technically the command point for the Tiger tank, so of course he's playing as the Soviets. Crossfire meanwhile is floating an absurd amount of resources, like over 1,000 himself, as he's himself also of course stalling, but he's like 4 command points away compared to Spade's, well, 1.5 now. It's like he needs to get more aggressive for this to work out, I think, for him, because otherwise, like, you know, at this rate, Spade will get out a Tiger tank ahead of Crossfire. Also, you need to deny the German small fuel here. There you go. He's being hammered here by mortar fire there. We got the Obersten, we got the Volksgun, these Panzerjägers, then everything else around the centre here. In the south, Crank, there was a bit more dug in now, ready to meet the advance of the fascists with the bulwark of socialism. T-35 catching the Volksgun, these are the Obersten here with its mighty 80-pound gun there, adopted from the Soviet anti-aircraft gun. Fun fact there. Transforming against the T-45. Good shot there. Heat shells as well there. T-57 with the Obersten. Good shot there. Anti-tank grenade failed to penetrate the Pantherful's arm. That's actually exceedingly rare. That was pretty lucky there for Peashooter and incredibly unlucky there for Crank, honestly. T-55, 76 engineer pioneers there. He's brought in a Maxim. Very smart here. They still could push for the northern fuel point. Again, needs to like get a bit more aggressive. He's also looking just to stall for the ISU, but at the same time, the current approach he's taking, I mean, like, there's even like, you know, still plenty of manpower. Like he can sort of afford to, like, you know, spend towards, you know, experience in that sense. Meanwhile, Spade getting very close to the target tank. Again, similarly, is holding up a lot of resources. We got the Sturm-T-Guard here for Peashooter. Interesting choice. The opposite of the Blitz still doing nothing there. And that counter what they need to get out for the Sturm-Tiger utterly obliterates them. Also surprised, not seeing like any smoke screens here from Crossfire or Crank here. Concepts suppressed routed. Could have just laid smoke down, but I think made it much easier to grab the point here. Up north here, constantly heavy fire from the mortar and are being pushed back. We've still got the Maxim. We got a fragmentation bombing run here from Spade, and there you go. The Maxim crew is almost annihilating just poor Yevgeny to hold back the Maxim. And there you go. But that Spade gets just enough command points to call in the Tiger tank. Still have plenty of manpower to spare, honestly. I'll wait. Tiger is here. Deutschland vorwärts. Constance the DAC and they're losing out. There you go. Panzerdick team arrives, fires several rockets at the T-Fed force from 6 people. Got a Katyushin out for Crossfire here. Perhaps realizing he needs to do more damage to get there. Crank finally with a guard squad there, honestly. Crossfire, meanwhile, I think would benefit from some more guard squads, honestly. But well, he's slowly getting towards the ISU there. He is slowly getting there. Good hit by the T-Fed from the Panther 4. Back to heat shells there for Peashooter's Panzerkampfwagen 4. Of north, they pump seas for the guard. Somebody got the gun being back. There you go. Tiger tank around with his 88mm gun. Also adopted, of course, from an anti-aircraft gun, of course, the infamous Flak 88, or Flak 36 to be specific. Gartner takes minutes from the Tiger tank and his 88mm gun. Guardsmen need to be careful in the face of the mighty Tiger. Just be lucky enough, I guess. Field gun T-Fed moving forward here. Tiger tank could do some light repairs in the south here. Crank continue to grapple here with Peashooter. Got the Sturmtiger soldering ahead here. Crossfire very close to that ISU 152. Crank meanwhile not far away from another T-35. Spade going for another Panther 4, bringing in more armor here to clash with the Soviets, which put up to 1 Tiger tank and then 2 Panther 4s. That's certainly be quite the armored force here for the Germans versus the Red Army. Meanwhile, the Soviets just don't have a lot of tanks here. Just don't have a lot of tanks. On the south line here, Crank and Peashooter are still at it. But again, they're sort of very cautious movements here. There you go, grab the center victory point. Katyusha fire off here. There goes Sturmtiger, shoots, almost wipes out the entire squad. The machine getting hammered here on top of getting smoked. Definitely wanting to go on. There he goes. Spade got his second Panther 4 to support his Tiger tank here. That is quite the armored force here, not to Spade against the Soviets. Meanwhile, Crossfire is getting ever closer to that ISU 152. Ever so steadily closer, but still some time to go there. T-Fed coming towards the south here, catching the Sturmpuny out in the open. Can't move for the western victory point here. And there you go, Panther again with heat shield plus backed up the Sturmpuniers and now Panzerschreck. Crank's T-35 is forced to go in a more retrograde manner in the face of the Germans. Katyusha one there for Crank. They really want those Katyushas. Tiger tank there, good to go once more for Spade. And Spade seems to be up to something here. Could be planning a flank here, using the train to get up behind the Soviets. It's a pretty rare flank path that most players tend to, well, ignore. And there goes smoke being deployed here. By who? I'm guessing it must be the Germans then. I think in part to support the Tiger tank, but perhaps also as a diversion they move to like further draw away attention here from the rear as sends in those 2 Panther 4s there. Tiger tank's drawing attention there. Infantry's not quite supporting here. Guards pushing them back here, but the Panther 4's about to strike here. He also has a fragmentation bomb, which will definitely add more pressure here to the flank assault. There you go, film turning around here. Panther 4's dying forwards for Deutschland. And there you go, fragmentation bomb being unleashed here. A hell of a flank here by Spade against Crossfire. Support ones are bunched up. This infantry's definitely in danger. So there you go. Several losses, but could have been, I think, much worse for Crossfire. He's still stalling for the ISU 152. He is very close to it, though. He can almost taste the ISU 152, though. Why you taste one, I don't know. Tiger tank gives the Guardsmen actually trying to obliterate them, but is certainly not quite having the luck the Tiger crew would like to have. Meanwhile, towards the we've got the Panther and the Gunners moving forward here. Heavy rocket fire on them. T-34s also firing into the advantage of German force. There you go, a full volley here from the Panther alongside the Panther force. Completely evaporates Crank's T-34-85. Companies moving forward, so we got T-34's field guns firing into the German advance. There you go, another rocket strike here, and this time 1 Panzer team utterly obliterated by the rockets. Could we see another YP on him? And there you go, another Panzer team. Both Panzer teams, they're under Spade's command. are destroyed. Meanwhile, in the center, we've got a storm team force here. Mines being set off in its, wake of its well. There you go. Both Katyushas being knocked out here by Peashooter's Panzer IV. T-54 going in for an attempted ram on it, but runs out of, engine juice or whatever you want to call it. There you go. Got the Panzer IV here. Oh, heats the engine. There we go. Engine juice. What the hell am I talking about? Got the ice through the field and here was the Tiger tank. Spade does look like he might be in trouble. Crossfire there should really call in more troops. Well, they also need more tanks. Meanwhile, Spade there's lost most of infantry. And at this point, Peashooter is basically the player looking the strongest. He's going for a Panther, the Panzerkampfwagen 5. He's sorting the car on. He's going swimmingly well here for him. His infantry is being pushed back, but he has done quite well. We got grenades here at the advancing surge, pushing them further forwards into the Oberstland's gun line. There we go. Band grenade here, the Geballte Ladung. Force him to further push ahead there. Yevgeny's brother Dimitri blown to bits here. Oberblitz for Spade? What? But why? Like, he still had to do anything with that. I don't think he's realised it. That's like the only explanation. He hasn't realised what's going on there. Panzer IV's being fixed up. Gunneers being fought as well there. And there he goes, sets up on the cut-off point here, close to it. Very nice, but he really should get that one going. So we've got the Archewing Force, the Schwero Boy, also known as the Beast Killer. Equipped with 152mm gun, it was based off the chassis of the IS-2 heavy tank. There was also the ISU-122, which was actually a heavy tank destroyer, but this one was specifically a heavy assault gun, meant for like blasting through fortifications, whatnot. Though turns out it could also deal with tanks. Even its high explosive shells were so powerful, like it could actually like just shatter the tanks with just sheer high explosive firepower. So fun fact there. Even up north, moving from the northern victor point again. Here we got Spade once more with an advance here for Deutschland. Dashing in when they can here. Around the centre victory point here. Panther Sturmtiger going back up north here. We got the Panthers of the advancing Guards and shredding them with machine gun and high explosive shells there. Guards scored there, almost swapped up. T-54 and 6, Vetchi 2 there, 9 kills. Near suppressed by the MU-34. More smoke being deployed there, and got line for gun at the plus 85 here for Crank. In the centre there, Sturmpionier Guardsman clashing out with the Sturmpionier. Backed up by Oberstland, by the way. Definitely pushed back the Guardsman there. H12 slowing the way there. I shoot there 1 kill. Putting forward, so you got mortar fire rain down there, the heavy mortar delivering death from above, but the Sturmtiger is about to deliver just straight up death. There you go, bunch up, showing him to the Crank come. This feels like a really bad idea by Crank, and there you go. Field and crew somehow survives that. But the Oberstland finish off the job there. Still pretty risky there. Spade just flooding a lot of resources. I'm guessing setting up for another Tiger tank. Oberstland heavy mortar there, wipes out one of the Oberstland squad there, and the other one is pretty much bled out there. 14 kills. Ace will definitely need to retreat that heavy mortar. You could also just merge a constant squad with it, to be honest. They may just do that here to get that field gun crew to full strength. Can't pick up it because once they upgrade to 7-man squad size, they can't pick it up. It's going to have to use the guards squad. They also fully upgrade, so the guards are going to have to use the engineers to pick it up. In the centre, Pioneers comes clashing out here up north. We got the ice troops moving ahead slowly here, basically allowing the engineers to spot for it. Further push forward history into the Panther here with Panzer Commander up there for Peashooter and for Deutschland. Centre being seized by the Volksgrenadiers. In the south, we got the H5 crewing forwards here for Crank, ready to blow apart some fascist tanks. Northern Victor one being seized here, should move further up near against the northern fuel point. In the south, H5 there's the Panther, but neither side is making much of an impact on the other. Down here, trip reinforcing healing for Crank, and I shoot the falling bit back here for Crossfire stretching ammunition. Oberstland this season, the light machine meaning then double light machine Oberstland squad. That's definitely bad news for Germany. And from there, go Panther head back up to the Sturmtiger, and of course now the Panther. Pretty bold with attacking that broadly down in a very narrow line, but clearly ends up working out for the Germans nonetheless. And far up north here, second Tiger drive with Spade. Goes straight forward, mines it off under Crossfire's men feet. Still hasn't called in more troops, down just 2 infantry squads here. And he's lost one of his engineer squads, about to lose the other one as well here. This is starting to look pretty devastating for the Soviets. Things are really starting to fall apart here in the face of the German Wehrmacht. And its armoured fist here, Tiger tank striking off shot there from the 6th Division field gun, which in the actual war couldn't penetrate the front line with the Tiger tank even at like close range. Fun fact. Smoke being deployed here by the Germans to mess with the Surge defence here. Not a bad idea. Got a Phantom Change bombing unleashed against Crossfire this time though. Misses, but still forces Crossfire to have to abandon the defence line around the northern victory point here. The Red Army is definitely starting to feel the pressure now as the 7th Panzer Division is really upping the ante here with his attacks. And crucially just has a lot more tanks than the Soviets. Partly again because the Soviets keep just going for Peashooters when they probably should have gone for tanks. Strange to mind there with the Panzerschützer or Panzerjägers. About to lose them. Tiger tank is also heavily damaged. Moving on the centre victory point as well. Field gun smoked out again. Sturmtiger I think is going to try and use the cover smoke here to finish it off. There we go. Decent attempt, but field gun was away there. Crank wisely saw what's going to happen there and got the field gun to safety before it got turned into mush. Up north here, we got Spade pushing for the northern victory point there. Panther's trying to breach here, but the field gun is blocking an easy advance for the Panther's line. The RC to get some more shots if it can just damn well hit. Tiger tank to repair here for Spade. Panther being pushed back in the centre here. We got the Surge advancing on the victory point here. Down to 38 to 376. Field gun destroyed. Bit of blow there to Crossfire. Is all starting to finally call in some more guardsmen. Took him forever. If I have to be perfectly honest. Crank, I imagine, setting up for another team for the final. Holds him, going for another guard. We've got there, go another Panther down here. Another blow there to him. Tiger tank being repaired. We've got Contract and the Yashu going for it. There you go. Almost got Spade's Tiger tank number 2 here. Can Crossfire finish off here? 22 here versus 376 here. Soviets are appearing to maybe be staging a comeback here against the Germans. Almost got the Panther Sturmtiger in Betchy to the nation. Finally got the Panther forming in, looking to blitz it past the ISU and the ISU-5's tech side. There we go. Panther falling back. Sturmtiger as well. Their centre victory being held up north in south mean. Push for the victory point here. Guardsmen country they could do with some artillery support or some additional infantry and some armour here. Crank can now go for armour. Neither the T-35, but he really should call in more troops, honestly. And there goes Spade far up north here. As everything else happened, lost the Tiger tank here. 2 Crossfire's tank destroyed. But he's moving for the victory point. We've got 10 points for the 376. If the Surge can just hold out for a bit longer and inflict some German loss, they might be able to win on the hand if the Germans can just push through here. It may not matter than just beat out the Soviets. ISU-1 turning around here. Shoots, almost gets his field and crew wiped out here in the centre. We held up in the south, push back. Crank going for the T-35. He's still not calling in more infantry. He needs it, and so does Crossfire. I feel like the Soviets are kind of like ignoring one of the important lessons of war, which is you need infantry. Panther diving at it here. We got 10 versus 376 here. Almost got the Panther fall here. That'd be quite a blow that the Spade is going to lose. Then all of his tanks rushing for the northern victory point. Maximum in here. Centre being grabbed by the opposite Arden. And field gun could try and bombard there, but isn't. Issues from ISU, they're holding up, going for the victory point, which is contested at least. We got 10 versus 376 here. Centre victory point rendered neutral. And in fact, there's no Soviet points there, so it's pretty much just split out, not a very slow pace. And he's not too slow either. There you go. Got the northern one pushed to safety there for the Red Army. Got the T-35 out there, so it's still not calling more infantry. Like, they just... I don't think they're quite realising what's going on entirely. But anyways, field bombarding had the opposite side and forcing them back here, but still they're down to 1 point. I think that it's going to be GG. They were, I think, fairly close here to breaking the Germans, but I think the Surge suggested a slight tendency of like saving up too many resources for like no particular purpose. They needed more infantry. I think at times they also like done more to flank around the Soviets there compared to the Germans. Also had some issues there, but at least they, I think, at times crucially, I think, understood terrain and the power of flanking more than the Surge did. Plus, crucially, they used smoke the Surge did. And finally, Crank's late commander chose to have Gartmotor, particularly just like, you know, he could have gone for that sooner as well. But there you go, a fairly explosive match here with a lot of heavy armor. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you learned something from it. If you did, subscribe, like, share, comment. And of course, if you really like what we're doing, we support, you can donate via Patreon, or you can, pledge via Patreon, donate via PayPal. Links in the description. There's some pro links in. Cheers. Thank you for watching. We'll see you tomorrow again for a nice, exciting episode. Bye.